Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's July 27th, 2016. In Philadelphia, the third day of the Democratic National Convention is getting underway right now. What we're going to do in this video is talk about why the convention's in Philadelphia, why it began July 25th, why Hillary became the official party nominee on July 26th, an important date to the state of New York, where the original Clinton political dynasty comes out of. We're also going to talk about all of the important headlines and even those that seem seemingly unrelated, such as the death of Miss Cleo yesterday, the same day Hillary became the first female nominee for one of the major parties in the history of the country. Miss Cleo was a fortune teller, and the convention being in Philadelphia has a lot to do with telling the future and prophecy. If you're new to my channel, since 2013, I have been exposing how news, history, elections, and more are scripted by the numbers, planned in advance, and created for we the people to forge a path of agenda and narrative for us to follow along with. Those of us who live in the United States of America, we've never experienced a non-rigged presidential election. The presidents of this country have always been chosen long in advance, and a narrative is created to dupe the people into going along with it. And this narrative right now for the year 2016 is very favorable for Hillary Clinton. So, with that said, let's get into the first 2 days of headlines, why it's going on in Philadelphia, a lot of important information. This is going to be a long post. Please stay tuned for as much as you can. I'm going to make every moment of this post worth it. Lots to cover. If you're new here, I talk about numerology and gematria. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. The reason I talk about these things is not because they're interesting so much to me, as it is that I have discovered the powers that be, who are the Masons, Zionist Jews who control the media, they very much abide by these practices. Numerology, gematria, these are important things to them. Gematria is mostly important to Jewish people. If you've never seen the movie Pi, P-I, you know, the mathematical concept having to do with finding area and circumference for circles, the movie Pi introduces gematria and its relevance to the Jewish faith. In Judaism, there's something called Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, which has a lot to do with numbers, operating by numbers. The powers that be, this is what they are. They're Kabbalists, and they have scripted our history by a numerical code. They have written our language for us. English equals the same thing as gematria, equals the same thing as Masonic, equals the same thing as Jewish. Our calendar ties right in. All of this stuff has been built around us and creating a numerical system that this entire nation has gone by from its beginning up to the present. The Gregorian calendar was established in the United States around the same time the nation was. So anyhow, in gematria, headlines are routinely coded with numbers of significance. For example, source, Sanders may nominate Clinton. This was from yesterday morning before Sanders did nominate Clinton. The gematria of this phrase has been showing up a lot in headlines for the convention. It sums to 135, and the reason that is significant is because the phrase, the key of David, has gematria of 135. If you're asking what the key of David is, it is an instrument in bringing about prophecy from the book of Revelation, which is the final book of the Christian Bible. Revelation 3:7 is where the city Philadelphia gets its name from. Here's what it says in Revelation 3:7, the book of prophecy. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. So notice, Philadelphia, the name of this nation's original capital, is in the verse, as well as the phrase, the key of David. And in history, Philadelphia was established October 27th, 1682. That's a date with 135 numerology, 10 plus 27 plus 16 plus 82. And again, the key of David in Gematria sums to 135. So many things in this nation have been built around this number code, including this nation's birthday, July 4th. The United States of America declared its independence July 2nd, 1776, but July 4th is recognized as Independence Day because of its numerical significance. Masonic equals 74, Jewish equals 74, English equals 74, Gematria 74, Holiday 74, Independence Day equals 74, and we celebrate Independence Day on 7/4. Very special numbers to this nation. So, here's what else is very interesting in light of the convention being in Philadelphia, the city named from the book of prophecy, future telling. From the date the convention started, July 25th, to November 8th, Election Day is 106 days. 106 days. Prophecy in Gematria sums to 106. Not a coincidence. Last year in Philadelphia, there was supposedly a train wreck traveling 106 miles per hour. That happened on a date with 52 numerology. Prophecy with the reduced method also sums to 52. These numbers very specific to Philadelphia. Last year's train wreck story was part of a contrived political narrative. You might recall that the day after that story, the Republicans had a vote, or the Congress did, the Republican majority, and they voted not to fund Amtrak for this safety measure the day after a wreck that they said was related to this possible safety measure. And really what all of this is part of a grand mocking of the people and part of what creates the political division and tension. If you were listening to talk radio at that time, the liberal stations, the Democratic stations were saying, see, this is what's wrong with the Republican Party. We just had this Amtrak crash, and now the Republicans are voting, the opposite way of making it more safe. But what people don't realize is that the entire news story of the crash was contrived. There was no real Philadelphia train wreck. It was all made up by the numbers. They used old train cars and just staged a fictitious wreck. Sadly, this kind of stuff happens all the time in our nation, contriving news to fit a political narrative. If you haven't seen my work on the Philadelphia train wreck last year, check it out. There was a lot of predictive programming for that wreck in movies. The Zionist Jews, they control Hollywood, they control the media, they control politics. They are the ones scripting all of this around us. So yesterday, July 26th, the day after the convention started, Hillary, with the roll call for the votes for the delegates, became the official party nominee, the first female representative for either major party in the history of the country. A major milestone, they're saying. And what's interesting is July 26th can be written 7/26. Revelation in English Gematria equals 726, the book of prophecy. In history, the state of New York was established on July 26, 1788. Also, the FBI was established on that date, July 26, 1908. You might have saw there was an FBI headline. Supposedly somebody rammed a truck through the gate of the FBI headquarters in Pennsylvania where the Democratic Convention's happening. With regards to New York being established on this date, July 26th, at the time of its establishment, there was a political dynasty in that state. They were the Clintons. George Clinton, the first governor, he became the fourth vice president to Madison. The reason it's Madison Square Garden in New York. Hillary Clinton took on the Clinton name by marrying Bill Clinton, but Bill Clinton was not born into the Clinton family. He was born Bill Blythe. His biological father died 2 months before his birth. His mother would remarry into the Clinton family. And if you've never seen my work on the death of Bill Clinton, his biological father died on a date with numerology that perfectly matches the gematria of Clinton and so much more. What it really makes me wonder is if Bill Clinton's entire backstory is fictitious. That's another topic. With regards to New York, yesterday it turned 228 years old. From 1788 to 2016 is 228 years. United States of America equals 228. So does death in English gematria. I bring that up because the date Bill Clinton's biological father died was the date that left 228 days left in the year. Go back and watch that video when you get a minute on the death of Bill Clinton's father. A lot of important information on the date he died. So much coded into that date. Corresponded with Washington, D.C., the federal government, so much more. Here's that count in days from July 26, 1788 to 2016. 228 years or 83,275 days. And what's been true for all of those days is the same Masons, the same Zionists in high places have been running the show. Back when New York was established, there was no such term in common vocabulary as Zionism, but this movement, this gang called Zionism in the present has always been in power, has always been in place, has always been creating history in this nation. If you watch the pro-Zionist film Four Blood Moons, in the beginning, the narrator talks about how if there was no Jewish people, there'd be no United States of America. Check out that documentary, Four Blood Moons. So we've established the Key of David, prophecy, what it has to do with Philadelphia, future telling, prophecy, the future to be fulfilled. The Masons, the Zionists in high places, they think they're fulfilling prophecy by doing what they're doing throughout history. So here's Miss Cleo, who died yesterday, 17 days before her 54th birthday. Oracle in gematria equals 54. You might remember the Golden State Warriors, originally from Philadelphia. They lost this year, setting a record home win streak in the NBA at 54 games. They play in Oracle, and Oracle Arena is exactly 106 feet tall, the number of prophecy. As I was explaining during the time of the NBA Finals, it was rigged for the Cavs to win, and in history, when the East, which the Cavs are in the NBA, win the NBA championship, a Democrat is elected president. When those things happen in the same year, that's been the historical pattern. Interesting that the GOP Convention was in Cleveland this year, where the Cavs are from. But historically, the Democratic Party wins when a team from the East wins. If a team from the West had won, such as Golden State, that would be favorable for Trump, historically. So Miss Cleo, she died 17 days before her 54th birthday. The word kill equals 17. The word Cleo equals 17. She died at age 53. And what's really interesting about that is Pennsylvania in gematria equals 53, where Philadelphia is. Pennsylvania is named after Arthur Penn, the man who came over and established the state as well as the city of Philadelphia by the numbers. His father was an admiral in the British Navy, and he was awarded the land that became Pennsylvania in the original capital through an agreement from the king of that time and this nation. What else is interesting about her being a psychic is it has gematria of 83, just like leap year, just like election. Presidential elections are in leap years. I should mention that the Donald equals 83, what they continue to call Donald Trump. The Donald, 83. The is 33, Donald is 50. America equals 50. Donald's phrase, make America great again. Think about 50 states, America equals 50. So her birth name, Yori Del Harris in gematria. Miss Cleo's birth name, Yori Del Harris, has gematria of 87, just like the gematria of Clinton. I've been doing videos all year, for more than a year, on all the 87 coding going along with Hillary Clinton. From her birthday to Inauguration Day is 87 days this year. If she becomes the 45th president, Bill Clinton was number 42. 42 plus 45 is 87. The date Bill Clinton's biological father died, a date with 87 numerology. So Miss Cleo, some strong connections to Hillary. Her last name, Harris, in simple English gematria also sums to 73. Hillary Clinton in Pythagorean gematria sums to 73. If she becomes the next president, she will finish her first term at age 73. A year ago, I put out that video on the Time magazine article, how Hillary is the perfect age to be president. Perfect equals 73. If you're new here, I talk about how to gematria. There are two very important methods, which is mostly what we talk about. There's also a third and fourth method, which I sometimes use, that are also interrelated. Type how to gematria in your YouTube bar. You can watch my quick video and learn these skills. So Miss Cleo, a lot of interesting coding. The day she was born on, August 12th, 1962, a date with 101 numerology. Philadelphia equals 101. The convention in Philadelphia. She was also born on a date with a life lesson number of 38. That's a number connected to death. It seems that she was sacrificed by the numbers. Either that or had to fake her death by the numbers for all part of this ritual for Hillary. The date of her death, the numerology is as you see. The life lesson number of 42 for her death stands out. 42 is a number often stamped on black people in a negative way. It's the reason Jackie Robinson, the first black baseball player in white Major League, wore 42. It represents the most hateful word for black people, the N-word. I used to say that word out loud for educational purposes, but so many people get angry. So you know what word I'm talking about. In South Africa, the hateful word for the black people over there is kafir, which also has gematria 42. Yesterday was also a date with 49 numerology, and revelation in Pythagorean gematria sums to 49. Remember, revelation, prophecy. It was also 726. Revelation in English gematria sums to 726. So a lot of numerology connecting to future telling. Here's the death of a psychic by the numbers. These are all of the important gematria for Revelation. 49, 67, 121, 726, 1010. And we'll talk about how Bill Clinton took the stage at 1010 yesterday, not by coincidence. Again, she died 17 days before her birthday. Kill 17, Cleo 17. Miss Cleo in gematria also sums to 32 and 50, just like America. America's 32 the small way, 50 the big way. Declaration of Independence, a date with 32 numerology. So R.I.P. Miss Cleo. Either that or shame on you for faking it. And she faked it, you know. There's a long line of these deaths by numbers where this is the question it boils down to. Are these people really murdered, or did they fake it? I can't answer all of that, but I can show you what's going on by the numbers, why these things are being reported as they are. So another number we're going to talk a lot about, in addition to 74, is 33. 33 and 74 often paired together. The name Clinton equals 33, federal 33. Clinton's challenge. Think about this phrase from CNN. Clinton's challenge. 2 words starting with C. C is the third letter. CC33. Clinton's challenge in gematria also sums to 74. She'll need to counter Trump attacks, email leak distractions. These are the challenges, supposedly, and they're all Masonic, contrived narratives to keep the people's eye off the ball. That's all we get in these elections. Nonsensical issues that never change, that are emotionally driven, meant to dupe people into supporting one party over the other, and then the same tactics are used each election, and people fall into the same traps every time. But anyway, Clinton's challenge sums to 74. We often see this pairing of 33 and 74. Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74. It's the 33rd state, Oregon. 33-74, a Masonic pairing. Numbers important to Freemasonry. Clinton's challenge sums to 74, just like Masonic, just like Jewish, just like donkey, which is the symbol of the Democratic Party. And elephant also has the Freemason coding, the Republican Party. Clinton's challenge in simple English gematria sums to 173, reminding of Hillary Clinton's 73 the small way. 173 is also the 40th prime number. United States equals 40, so does Hillary. Hillary running to be the U.S. president. With regards to her emails, there's a lot of headlines right now about how Russia supposedly is behind this hack. All of this is contrived narrative. For all the people who get caught up in the Russia, USA propaganda, you need to recognize that the United States of Soviet Russia, as it was once called, has always had the same banker, tyrant, Zionist masters the United States has. United States of America, United States of Soviet Russia. I suspect that at some point in the future, the USA will break up into smaller countries, much like the USSR did in the past. Anyhow, who wins if Putin meddles? This headline was up the last 2 days on CNN. Gematria of 106. Again, this convention started 106 days before the election. The question's asking, will Putin's meddling, Russia's meddling in the election affect the outcome? Today I turned on the TV and they're saying Putin's actions will help Donald Trump. All of this stuff is contrived. I want you to notice that Russia has gematria of 87 just like Clinton. And 87 is coded all over the Clinton campaign since it began. I'll link all these posts down in the description. You can come back and read the articles if you want. With regards to the email hack, they're saying there's 33,000 emails that Hillary deleted. This is all part of the Masonic joking. Again, the name Clinton equals 33, Federal 33, Masonry 33, Secrecy 33, Order 33. They love to put this number before our eyes and taunt us with it. Think about it. For everyone who's so caught up in the Hillary email scandal, just think about how ridiculous that is. We live in a nation run by real tyrants who've started wars illegally, murdered people as ritual sacrifice, and done so much that is wrong to us. You know, we are people who are taxed on our income when we're supposed to be a nation where that doesn't happen. Yet all of us pay these taxes, we don't fight back, and we're always distracted with these nonsensical stories such as an email scandal. Do you guys understand that the whole Benghazi thing on September 11th, the 11th year anniversary of September 11th in our nation, Benghazi happened on September 11th? The whole thing is a contrived narrative, and it's all used for this ongoing agenda. Just like I was talking about with the train wreck, all of this stuff is the same. So here's Trump, Putin will respect me. What's that equal? 87, like Russia, like Clinton. All of this narrative written around Hillary. The emphasis on will respect me sums to 70. If you just take off the Putin part, will respect me. What they emphasize always has meaning as well. It sums to 70. Today's date numerology is 70. Donald Trump just turned 70 years old. These people love their numbers. So, speaking of numbers, this is also in my book. My book begins with the establishment of the nation, comes all the way up to the present, shows how our entire history has been ruled by propaganda by the numbers. One of the chapters is called Race War, and it shows how all of the race-based shootings in the media are contrived for the sake of agenda, for the sake of divide and conquer, for the sake of provoking people. All these women who went on the stage last night at the Democratic Convention and talked about their lost sons, supposedly, are complete liars. Complete liars. None of these women are the mothers of any of the sons they said they lost. All of these stories are complete fiction, made-up propaganda. A lot of these women have Masonic husbands. I'll tell you what, if any of their sons really did die, they were ritual sacrifice, and these mothers sold out their own children. So what they called these mothers is mothers of the movement. And in Gematria, what's being coded is very relevant. Mothers of the movement sums to 97 as well as 106, the number of prophecy. And if you read through my race war chapter, almost all of these reported shootings happened according to this same prophecy code. With regards to 97, Civil War sums to 97. And I've been talking a lot about the Civil War coding in all of these shootings. Today, July 27th, it was a news headline that all of the officers remaining in the Freddie Gray case out of Baltimore were acquitted. And I said more than a year ago that all of this would happen to purposefully to provoke the people of this nation, to divide them further along race. That is what's being aimed at. Freddie Gray last year was supposedly injured April 12th in Baltimore and died on April 19th, a week later. The reason that's significant is because the Civil War in history began April 12th, 1861. The first casualty was April 19th in Baltimore, where Freddie Gray died. Hillary Clinton also began her presidency April 12th, the date of the Freddie Gray story, when it first emerged. April 12th is a significant date. It's the 102nd date of the year, 102. United States of America has gematria of 102. Key of David without the in the front also has gematria of 102. It also connects to this ongoing prophecy code. And so much of this prophecy narrative is all about getting the people to fight amongst themselves while the agenda goes on and the real bankers, Zionist tyrants masquerade in the shadows. Here's Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton last night, July 26th. Remember, Revelation connects to 726. Taking the stage at 10:10 to begin his speech. Revelation in Jewish gematria, 10:10. Revelation in English, 726. Finishing up the date of prophecy where his wife became the first female presidential nominee for a major party. Yesterday was a date with a life lesson number of 42. Bill Clinton was the 42nd president. Think about how they used to call him the first black president, even though he was white, and they've stamped 42 on black people throughout history. Her most fervent advocate also has this gematria of 97 and 106, Civil War prophecy. You know, this is CNN's headline while he's up there speaking. His speech would end right at 10:53, which is a lot like 153. If you're new to my channel, I explain how 153 is often coded along with 42. Where it comes from is the Bible, the miraculous catch of fish. Miraculous equals 42, fish equals 42. In the miraculous catch, there's 153 fish. Special numbers often coded together. The 42nd president's speech ends right at 10:53. Before Clinton's speech, the actress, there's been a lot of actresses, actors, models at both the DNC and the RNC. Actress Elizabeth Banks came out and mocked Donald Trump's entrance on July 18th at the GOP Convention. In case you missed my video on that, here's what you needed to know. Donald Trump came out to the song "We Are the Champions" by Queen, and to me that was very suspicious. As soon as I applied the knowledge, it was clear why he came out to Queen. Queen Elizabeth, her birthday is April 21st. From April 21st until July 18th is 88 days. And the reason that's significant is because 88 connects to the name Trump and Elizabeth. They both have gematria of 88. That's the name of the Queen. That's the name of the actress Elizabeth Banks, who mocked Donald Trump. The Masons, the Zionists who are running the show, they treat the world as a stage. And so many people in high places are actors, puppets, putting on the show to serve the Zionist agenda. This entire political race is one giant show. It always is in the United States of America. There's some things that are interesting about Elizabeth Banks herself. Think about the last name Banks. We're talking about banker tyrants, rigging elections, rigging news, controlling the agenda. Banks also has gematria 47, just like the word president. Remember, the first Democratic debate was in Nevada. The first Republican debate was in Ohio. Nevada and Ohio, the only two states that sum to 47 in simple English gematria, fitting for a presidential debate starting place. The name Elizabeth Banks, 47 plus 88, also sums to 135. Again, the number coming back to the key of David, where we began. Elizabeth Banks, the small way, sums to 54. Remember, oracle equals 54, future telling, prophecy. 63 as well. 63 is interesting because if you add every number up to 63, it sums to 2016. A lot of 63 this year. All these numbers having 9 numerology. She was born February 10th in the year 74. We talked about 74. This is a date with a life lesson number of 33, the number connecting to Clinton. Date with 86 numerology as well, symbol, triangle, pyramid, special number. Republic, we're a democratic republic. Republic equals 86. Just some other headlines, just some reminders in case you're new here. There's ongoing themes that I've been talking about for more than a year. Notice this headline. This is from 2 days ago. Is there an unfair Hillary standard? And Hillary standard in gematria sums to 67. Since Hillary first announced that she was going to run for president, Time magazine put out an article, and it said Hillary is the perfect age to be president as a woman. And when they said perfect age, remember we talked about how Hillary Clinton corresponds with the gematria of perfect? The way that article began was, at 67, Hillary is a perfect age. And female in Jewish gematria equals 67. International Women's Day is March 8th, the 67th day of the year. All year there have been headlines coding 67 next to Hillary. And here it is in the Hillary standard, which even as a title for an article invokes a tone of sexuality and brings up men versus women. There's just so many subliminals what's coded into what's programmed through the media. The big way, it also sums to 166. The White House equals 166. We're talking about a presidential race. They post this article at 111. New York equals 111. The Clinton dynasty from New York, Hillary, a senator there. They had the 93 World Trade Center bombing on February 26, just after Clinton, Bill became president. If you've never seen my work on that, please check it out. Also, during the convention, we've seen a lot of this phrase, a lot of people holding the sign, I'm with her. I'm with her has gematria of 113. Scottish in gematria equals 113. It's Scottish Rite Freemasonry that has controlled this nation from the beginning. Mainstream equals 113. Dishonest equals 113. This is a number coded next to many Masonic lies throughout history. This is a number that I talk about in almost every single video. It's no coincidence that it's coded into Hillary Clinton's campaign. I'm with her, 113. We're talking about a dishonest New World Order, which is a Zionist Masonic Jew world order agent. Puppets in gematria also sums to 113, and that's what our elected officials are. Puppets for tyrants who rule from the shadows. So, regarding 113 in Zionism, in the Talmud, Bava Kama 113a says it's okay for people who are Jewish to lie to people who aren't Jewish. And there's some Jewish people who will disagree with that interpretation, but it's very obvious that there is a gang within Judaism, which are the same Zionists running the show, who are interpreting it this way and coding it this way, and all of their dishonest, propaganda-based actions. Here was a shining example from the DNC. There was a moment where it went to the big screen, and what they played was a collage of Donald Trump comments over the past year where he's insulting different groups. You know, Donald Trump's attacked everyone except for the Jews. And the way this collage ended was with him mocking the handicapped reporter. So right after the close of this video, what they did was brought out this woman who's supposedly named Anastasia Somoza. What Anastasia Somoza truly was someone acting the part of someone who has a disability, a speech impediment, and this is all part of the grand mocking of we the people. Why would a girl such as Anastasia do this? For the same reason so many other people sell us out. Money. You know, maybe this girl, she's always aspired to be an actress. This is the only gig she could ever get that paid anything. And anyone who watched this couldn't help but notice that her entire thing seemed contrived. If you have not seen my work on Gabby Giffords and that fake assassination story, the attempt where it was first reported she was dead, then in critical condition, then surviving, then she rallied back to speak again, all of that was an act. All part of creating the narrative for the political agenda, which a lot has to do with gun control right now. So anyway, here was another Gabby Giffords type, Anastasia Somoza. Notice it says she first met the Clintons in 93, the year Bill became president, Hillary became first lady. Again, propaganda equals 93, special number to New York. They bring her out at 906, Freemason 96. Her name in gematria, very interesting. Anastasia Somoza sums to 48, just like propaganda, just like hoax, just like Donald Trump, who she was a counter to. With regards to the 57 connection, a special age for inauguration of presidents, George Washington became president at 57. I think 4 of the first 6 presidents took the office at age 57. Scottish Rite equals 57, as in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, the branch of Freemasonry that George Washington belonged to, the branch of Freemasonry that runs this nation. Also 75, New World Order equals 75. Wells Fargo Arena equals 75, where the DNC is at. New World Order, the Masonic Zionist Jew World Order. The name Anastasia also has matching gematria with Hillary, who she's stumping for, Hillary Clinton. Anastasia Somoza, the big way also, just like New World Order. If you haven't seen my work on the signing of the TPP, the trade deal that will further enslave humanity, that was signed on the 174th meridian by the numbers. Go back and watch that video. Find out the significance of 174, a number I often talk about. Her initials AS, A's the first letter, S the 19th, 119, all-seeing eye 119, Star of David. We're going to talk more about that number in just a moment. Prior to her, what they also did was brought out a young Hispanic girl to counter what Donald Trump had to say about Mexicans earlier this year, calling them all rapists. They brought this girl out at 804, United States of America equals 84. They said her name was Carla Ortiz, which in gematria sums to 50. Also like America, 50 states. Look at how they present this, though, through the TV in a way that is meant to divide. Child of undocumented parents speaks at convention. And this is from the opening, the first day after the GOP convention just ended, where a lot of the focus was on building a wall, keeping out Mexicans. These headlines are made to provoke. This is how they steer people into right, left, red, blue, Democrat, Republican. The people who are all riding the Trump juice right now, they're going, oh my God, child of undocumented, I'm surely voting for Trump. The media knows exactly what they're doing. Pushing everybody's buttons, you know? Us chemically dumbed down people, we're very easy to take advantage of. Carla Ortiz also sums to 131, which is the 32nd prime number. America, the small way, sums to 32. 7-4-1776, numerology of 32. After the first day, Al Gore endorsed Hillary Clinton, supposedly through Twitter. We didn't see him on the TV. They just talked about his endorsement through Twitter. He tweeted at 11:09. 119, again, all-seeing eye, 119, Star of David. Remember, he is who ran against George W. Bush in 2000. He was the vice president of Clinton. Al Gore, 58, George W. Bush, 58, Freemasonry, 58. In 2004, it was George W. Bush versus John Kerry, both members of the Masonic Order, Skull and Bones. Also from day one, the other big story, Michelle Obama, they said easily the speech of the convention, maybe the best speech of both conventions. What's so sad about her speech is that it was delivered with charisma in a nice way, in an engaging manner, but all that was said were lies, deception, talking about all the right things while being married to a man who did nothing but give the U.S. lip service and never followed through with his promises. You know? Another politician who came through and sold out the country. And that's what always happens each election cycle. We never pay attention to the facts. We just get caught up in these narratives, these contrived, divisive narratives. You know, focus more on the energy, the charisma, instead of the worth of the words. She's talking about all these nice, rosy ideas, which her husband, as a president, hasn't reflected any of. Talk is cheap. The subheadline, The Power of Michelle Obama, 113. Just talked about that number. Mainstream, dishonest, green screen. Bava Kama. For day 2 early in the morning, they had this headline up, ready to make history. Hillary looking to the sky. This headline has a lot of interesting gematria. 232 and 88. Just like on the last headline we just looked at for Michelle. Clinton's secret weapon, 88, and they're talking about against Trump. Remember the 88 connection to Trump. Michelle Obama, the counter to Trump. So here's some more 88 coding. We also talked about what it has to do with time, how 8 represents time, back to the future. With the S exceptions, ready to make history also sums to 106, like prophecy, like the convention beginning 106 days before the election. This story was posted at 4:04. There's 404 verses in Revelation, the book of prophecy. Again, Revelation equals 726. The story comes out on July 26th. 4:04 is a lot like 44, Hillary Clinton trying to be the 44th person to be president. Democrats in gematria sums to 44. That's encouraging for Hillary by the numbers. I noticed yesterday in right-wing news, Fox News, conservative talk radio, they were making the point as a talking point that the Democrats didn't have a real flag on the stage for day 1 of the convention. And again, this is another one of those ridiculous political narratives that enslaves people. So many Republicans, they think the Republicans are the real American party and the Democrats are a bunch of liberal communists, you know, the way typical conservatives talk. What's so interesting about them making this point about no American flag on the stage is that Philadelphia, where the convention is where the American flag was sewn at 239 Arch Street. The flag turned 239 years old this year on Donald Trump's birthday. Donald Trump has the same birthday as Flag Day. The flag was established June 14th, 1777, a date with 33 numerology, very special number to the Freemasons. Star-Spangled Banner has the same gematria as Masonic. This number has been coded all over our significant history. Red, white, and blue, those Masonic colors, so many Masonic nations that have been set up and established by these same numbers have this same color scheme. Here's Donald Trump's birthday. So anyway, they're bringing up Flag Day, no flag. In Philadelphia, the flag's 239 years old, sewn at 239 Arch Street. 239 is a special number to the Jewish faith. Torah, their holy book, equals 239. Their philosophy is that their Messiah will arrive through the Golden Gate. Golden Gate equals 239. If you've never seen my video on the 239 biological weapons tests that were done against the American people that began at the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, please check that out. Another important number in our nation's history, a number important to the world wars and more. The fact that they're bringing up this thing about the flag, prophecy, the convention being set in Philadelphia. Remember at the 2012 Olympics, the American flag fell. I think all of this is a riddle for the continued decline of our country and maybe a very catastrophic decline. We're a nation that's been in the world wars but never had the world wars come to our land to impact us. All of that could be changing. How soon? That's the question. But these banker tyrants, they run this world on war. If we the people don't wake up, what I'm talking about eventually will become the reality. Is that a year away? Is that 10 years away? Is that 20 years away? To me, it doesn't matter. What does matter is spreading this information as fast as possible and ending the agenda before we get there. So Donald Trump, echoing on the criticism of the Democrats, no flag, and then they started bringing up how there was no mention of ISIS. Again, ISIS is a Zionist creation, a boogeyman for the ongoing war agenda. ISIS stands for Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. You have Donald Trump saying that Israel's our greatest ally, he'll do anything for Israel. These are the things where if you are engaged, if you are awake, if you are enlightened, if you know what's going on in the world, you recognize right away Donald Trump's not on your side. The Zionists are our enemy. They have declared us as their enemy. They think nothing of us. They despise us. And, Donald Trump works for them. So Donald Trump says, no ISIS at the DNC, and he makes the remarks from Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina has the gematria of 106 like prophecy. And If you have the time, come to my blog, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. Go to my very first post on this blog from 2013 when I started this research. I showed how much was coded through the Carolinas. Donald Trump this year, campaigning to become the Republican, had some very interesting votes in the Carolinas, which you can go back and look at. Older posts, they all connect to this whole prophecy thing that we're talking about. This research is ongoing. With regards to the Zionist control, so many Zionist actors, musicians, politicians, news commentators surrounding all these conventions. They brought out Paul Simon at 9:23. Remember the Pope? His big day here was September 23rd. He departed through Philadelphia on the Jesuit order's birthday. Anyway, they brought out Paul Simon at age 74 to sing Bridge Over Troubled Water. At this very specific time, notice 923 is a reshuffling of 239. We were talking about Golden Gate, the bridge over troubled water. If we get a false flag at the beginning of the next president's term, which is typical for presidencies, false flag at the beginning of Bill Clinton's term, false flag at the beginning of George W. Bush's term, both with the World Trade Centers, 93, 2001. Think about Obama when he first became president, got a lot of tragic stories, oil spills, terrorism, all of it. Anyway, bridge over troubled water. Remember monuments such as the Hoover Dam, the Golden Gate Bridge, some of the other significant bridges in this nation. They might use one of these things as a false flag, and that might be why Paul Simon was out here singing Bridge Over Troubled Water. I'll show you what's so interesting about this song. It was released January 26th, 1/26. I've been talking about how there's a whole lot of 126 coding and false flags lately. The June 12th Orlando shooting. 12/6. Last year on December 6th, Obama gave his speech against ISIS. Seeing a whole lot of this number in false flag, bridge over troubled water. Look at this. That song, the date it was released, January 26, 1970, a date with 116 numerology, which is 911 upside down. Bridge over troubled water equals 116. So does country. They are foreshadowing something through this Paul Simon performance. Also a date with 44 numerology that the song was released. Hillary Clinton trying to become the 44th person to be president. Again, Obama's number 44, but only the 43rd person. This song was also recorded November 9th. 119, All Seeing Eyes, Star of David, reminding of September 11th. Recorded just after World Trade Center construction began in 68, 33 years before 2001. Look at Paul Simon's birthday, 10/13, 1013, a lot like 113, born in the year 41, USA 41, the 13th prime, a nation that began with 13 colonies, a nation that's mocked in the movie The Wizard of Oz, about a reality where people are ruled over by the banks. That's why the gold road, the silver slippers in the book, Dorothy's slippers are silver, not red. Gold roads, silver slippers. Banker tyrants ruling the world with screens and fear-mongering, just like the Wizard of Oz. Oz 41, USA 41. October, the only month with 33 gematria. The 13th day, 41, the 13th prime, 13 colonies. His name in gematria also sums to the same thing as Bavarian Illuminati, which was established May 1st, 1776, just before the American Revolution, and the Bavarian Illuminati is credited with the French Revolution, which began at the end of the American Revolution. Think about Thomas Jefferson, the American politicians over in France, Benjamin Franklin. The date Paul Simon born, a date with 83 numerology like election, leap year, the Donald. Real quick, I just want to make a point about the Democratic Party. The thing I like about the Democrats is because the people in the party, they're gullible, they're fooled by this grand deception, but the Democrats are so often more focused on issues that actually matter. The Democratic Convention is full of anti-TPP signs, which is right on. But what's sad is when Hillary gets in there, she's going to pass the TPP right through. You know, we're going to go along with the TPP. There'll be no objection to it. And Donald Trump, with all his cheap talk, he can say all he wants about these bad trade deals that have all been created by the Republican Party. He'll go along with whatever, too, if he gets installed in there somehow. But I'm pretty sure it will be Hillary as the next president. At the GOP convention, there wasn't anything like this. You go and talk to the people at the GOP convention, they're the people who are all wrapped up in the America's so great, ISIS the boogeyman, we got to destroy, we got to build the wall to keep out the Mexicans. These are the really gullible people who fall for all the political trash. Democrats, they fall for it as well, but their minds, their hearts are on issues that are actually important, such as these bad trade deals, such as improving the quality of education, things that matter. Both parties are complete frauds. No one should vote for any of them. But overwhelmingly, within the Democratic Party, you'll find more intelligent people, people who care about issues that matter. So I'll give the Democrats their due there. Again, the whole convention, it's a Zionist spectacle. CNN's had David Axelrod on as their chief correspondent, a name in gematria that sums to 119, just like All-Seeing Eye, just like Star of David. David Axelrod grew up Jewish in New York, the Stuyvesant neighborhood, a Zionist Mecca, as I've decoded so many times. I show how much propaganda comes out of there. You had this moment with Al Franken and Sarah Silverman, the former Saturday Night Live comedians. Al Franken, now the senator in Minnesota. You had them come out and stump for Hillary and tell people to get over Bernie. This is all part of the grand mocking, and it's so transparent who is responsible. The Zionist Jews use their media to program us and to constantly reinforce that nobody can say anything bad about them, while they just run the show right before our eyes. I mean, almost everybody on TV during these conventions is Jewish. I want to point out that the word entertain has gematria of 106, and look at how many entertainers we have go into politics. Athletes, actors. We, the people of this world, are being steered down the path of agenda and being pacified with constant entertainment. Even these elections, these conventions, the narratives mostly come back to entertainment, thrilling, keeping people on the edge of their seat. We need to recognize what's being done to us and how we're being ruled over and who's doing the ruling. These people can easily be defeated just like the wizard in The Wizard of Oz. Just takes a little bit of brains and courage. You got Bernie Sanders, who's going to the bank as a rich man after ripping off all these people who believed in him. Bernie Sanders might have the best rhetoric out of every politician out there, but he still talks about all the boogeymen like ISIS and Al-Qaeda as if they're real, instead of calling out who's really responsible, the Zionist Jews who he works for. Bernie Sanders, a grand deceiver. Another guy CNN's had on right now, a speechwriter for the Clintons, Obama, Michael Waldman, another Jew, 119. It's no question who did September 11th. They even told us on 60 Minutes a month after it happened. They said people who were over here from Israel recording the attack here to document it. That was a national news story on CBS, the All-Seeing Eye network, telling us all the hijackers are from Saudi Arabia, people from Israel here to document it. Those are our allies who we give billions of dollars to. Never went to war with them. We went to war with countries that had no connection. Even the people who aren't Jewish, they're owned by these Zionist Jews. Actresses such as Eve Longoria, gematria of 119. Name to be, her name the small way, 56, like the name president. No coincidence. That's why she's chosen. Same thing was going on at the GOP convention. They even brought out a Rothschild. They had a Rothschild on the TV to stump for Hillary. The banking tyrants, the most powerful banking family in the history of the modern world. They brought out this actress, America Georgina Ferrera, to stump for Hillary. Let me show you this. This is one of these Manchurian celebrities born and bred to be. America Georgina Ferrera sums to 129, just like America in Jewish gematria. Her name is America. She was born in 84 on April 18th. United States of America, 84. The Twilight Zone, 84. American Revolution, 84. The date of her birth numerology, a life lesson number of 44. Hillary Clinton's trying to become the 44th person to be president. Birth numerology of 106, the number of prophecy, connecting with Philadelphia, the date of the convention. She stars in the show Ugly Betty, which has gematria of 137. So does Washington, D.C. So does Authority. So does American Meridian, the meridian that runs through Washington, D.C. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Federal 33, Clinton 33. Bill Clinton's biological father died on May 17th, the 137th day of the year. She came out with another actress who's Jewish, who was born in New York, Lena Dunham. Both of their remarks actually made me laugh. I thought they had the funniest remarks at the convention. America said that Donald Trump would probably consider her a rapist because she's Mexican. Donald Trump made the remark that the Mexicans are doing all the raping. And Lena Dunham said her body would probably be rated about a 2 by Donald Trump, taking a shot at when he was critiquing women's physiques earlier in the year. Look at this. She's from New York, like the Clinton political dynasty. She's born on May 13th, a date written 13/5. That's also the 133rd day of the year. White House equals 133, government 133. Lena Dunham sums to 39, just like New York. The United Nations in New York's 39 floors tall. The date of establishment, 7/26/1788. 39 numerology. Revelation is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament that the Zionist Jews go by. Very special number to New York, where the Clinton dynasty comes out of. George equals 39. George Clinton, the first governor of New York, born in 1739. Lena Dunham, the big way, sums to 93, the reflection of 39. Special number to the Clintons. Bill Clinton, president in 93. Think about the 93 World Trade Center bombing on September 11th. There was the first plane to hit the building, floors 93 through 99. The second plane hit at 9:03 a.m. There was also flight 93 of 33 passengers in Pennsylvania. Propaganda 93. Saturn equals 93. There's a movie called Knowing, which begins with a father looking through a telescope, observing Saturn, talking to his son. Knowing equals 93. The movie begins with discovering how 9/11 was planned 50 years in advance. All part of the grand mocking. Again, that May 13th birthday, 13/5, a lot like the Key of David, prophecy. The capitals of this nation have been Philadelphia, New York, and Washington, D.C., which all have Revelation connections. Washington equals the same thing as Revelation. New York, as we talked about, has the Revelation connections through the date of establishment. The date of her birth, a date with 33 numerology like Clinton. 42, reminding Bill Clinton, the 42nd president, the word female equals 42, so does lady, so does bitch. Hillary, attempting to become the first female. 123, like conspiracy. Also 10-4, which reminds me of the new building in New York. One World Trade Center equals 93. It's 1,776 feet tall and 104 stories. If you take the date numerology 7 plus 4 plus 17 plus 76, it sums to 104. Also 17 plus 76 just for the year, 93. One World Trade Center, all numbers of significance because this entire nation from the beginning up to the present has been run by this same number code, by this same gang of Masons and Zionist Jews. With regards to 9/11, they had several people come out to talk about September 11th and what a hero Hillary Clinton was. An NYP detective, Joe Sweeney. Joe Sweeney equals 45, Hillary trying to become the 45th president. Sweeney alone equals 33, like Clinton. The World Trade Centers lasted for 33 years. The big way, Joe Sweeney equals 126, this number being connected to false flag attacks. Again, Orlando, June 12th. Obama's speech about ISIS, December 6th. Whole lot more. Talked about it a lot in recent videos. It just keeps coming up. They also had Rep. Joseph Crowley, gematria of 87, just like Clinton. Says his cousin was killed on 9/11. It's all propaganda. It's all actors spewing nonsense. For anybody who really died on September 11th, you'll never see those real families participating in the media. They just get the crisis actors, the liars, to come out and give the canned narrative. This is from the Republican convention. I just want to make this point real quick. You know, Donald Trump talking out against Muslims. We've had all this negative Muslim rhetoric since September 11th. At the GOP convention, they found this guy, Sajid Tarar, to supposedly stump for Trump. He has this foundation, American Muslims for Trump, something that was completely contrived. They bring him out at 10:56. False flag equals 156. I don't think this is any coincidence. 911 is the 156th prime. All of this stuff goes to subliminal programming that's been with us since 9/11 and really even before that, all based on false flags. This man's name in gematria sums to 47. So does the word agent. So does president. Agent 47 is a character in a video game that's been made into a movie, Hitman. Agent 47, a number you see coded into a lot of these paid liars. Terrar, gematria 58, like Freemasonry. They have this picture of him in an ad for Trump, Make America Great Again, on the side of a turban. Remember after 9/11, they said they couldn't find the planes, they couldn't find the bodies, they couldn't find the luggage, but right away they'd found turbans, terrorist passports, and box cutter knives. And the American people, they didn't blink an eye, they just believed it all. And these same type of people, they're the ones now cheering for people like Donald Trump. Also, yesterday, day 2 of the convention, the FBI had an incident in Pittsburgh, also in Pennsylvania, where supposedly a truck crashed through the gate. This is interesting because it was the anniversary date of the establishment of the FBI, July 26, 1908, 108 years earlier, the first federal police force. That was a date with 33 numerology. Gate equals 33, police 33, federal 33. If you haven't seen the video I just did on Watergate, please go back and check that out. That had to do with the Democratic National Convention. That's where the term gate came from. FBI investigation. All of this stuff is tributes to the hoaxes, the contrived narratives of the past. The FBI, one of the federal agencies that helps script this madness, the real terrorists are in our own government. And don't forget, the original definition of terrorism is government by intimidation, what the FBI has always been about. Also, with regards to this being 2016, Trump versus Clinton has gematria of 216. The GOP convention was in Cleveland, home of the 216 area code. Remember the final game in Cleveland of the NBA Finals? Game 6 in Cleveland summed to 216 points. Cleveland ended up winning. In history, when the East has won, the Democrats have become president. The Warriors, who lost in the West, originally from Philadelphia, where the Democratic convention is. Trump versus Clinton also has gematria of 63, and if you add every number up to 63, it sums to 2016. This is our matchup for 2016. You'll be seeing a lot of Trump versus Clinton in the headlines. Also, just before the convention began, the big story was that Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Democrat, was going to resign, taking the fallout for the email scandal, which is just a contrived narrative. The headline was Bowing Out, gematria 45. Hillary's trying to become the 45th president, Debbie Wasserman Schultz being the fallout or the scapegoat for Hillary. Bowing Out also has this gematria of 126, number they keep coding. Debbie Wasserman Schultz also has gematria of 87, just like the name Clinton. No coincidence. These are how our actor, agent, politicians are scripted. Debbie Wasserman Schultz's career was probably always scripted up to this moment. This is what she came in to do. These politicians, they do nothing but take orders from the Zionists and bankers who operate behind them. That's why you hear Bernie Sanders saying these statements that don't make sense at the convention, telling his people he looks forward to their votes, while at the same time saying we need to vote for Hillary. You know, notice Bernie left right away after he endorsed Hillary last night. He didn't stay for the convention. It's all part of the show of power and a mocking of we the people. You know, we the people know we're getting duped, but somehow we just go along with it. We shrug our shoulders. We tell ourselves this is as good as it's going to get. We're just going to vote for the lesser of two evils. And nothing changes for the better in this country. So to wrap this up, the reason I put out these long videos, the reason I'm writing this very long book, the reason I've been applying so much of my life creating all these blog posts for the last 3 years is because I'm trying to put together something that's so concrete, it's undeniable to wake up the many sleeping Americans that exist in this country that get fooled with these media stories, these elections. I've seen through all of this since I was a teenager, and I've been speaking out against it with logic and reason for half of my life now. And for most of it, I didn't have a clue about numerology or gematria. But what I recognized in all my years of speaking out is that people don't respond to logic. They don't respond to reason. They're mostly charged up on emotion and the programming they want to believe in. I'm trying to show something that's scientific, concrete, proven, shown again and again throughout history so that people can finally look at it, recognize it, and accept it and help shut down this system that we live in. This system run by tyrants that's about enslaving us to lies that are taught through education, media, making us grow up to be servants to jobs that are mostly an insult to all of our intelligence. We live in a very negative world because of this gang and the things that they have done to us. And all of this can end if we wake up and put an end to it, just like Dorothy, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow. All right, Truth Seeker, as always, thank you for listening. Please share this video. Tell people to just watch the first 5 minutes. In the first 5 minutes, I showed enough, The rest of the video is just all cake. Until next time, Truth Seeker, just as I'm about to finish this video, a new announcement for the Democratic Convention. Arnold Schwarzenegger will be giving a speech at the DNC. The former governor of California, the former Hollywood actor. Notice the name Arnold Schwarzenegger, 106, like prophecy, like the ongoing coding. The big way his name also sums to 223, like Masonic, like the synagogue of Satan. The name for the false Jews who will rule in the end times, mentioned along with Philadelphia. Until next time, Truth